So tonight we wanted to talk about preparing our faith for more. It's kind of a interesting question. You know, how do you prepare your faith for more? Where and how do we start to do that? The first thing that came to my mind is just the fact that everything flows from the heart. The physical realm, the physical things of this life, our body, it's here today, gone tomorrow. It's so temporary. We're just dust in the wind, but, our heart is more important. And in Proverbs chapter 4, verses 23, it says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. It really does. We're not climbing a ladder through life. We're not in a rat race. I believe that's just a lie. It's a lie that the world is trying to sell to us. But the physical realm is just a reflection of where the heart is, or where it was already, and everything flows from the heart. So the question is where is our heart tonight? Where is our heart right now? And we just ask that, Lord, would you come in and come into our hearts? And we just want to let you know, Lord, that you're welcome in our heart right here, right now, tonight. Also, I want to read from Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. What are we holding on to? What are we keeping? What's keeping us from believing and trusting? What is it that we're trusting in that's not of God and His truth? What are we ashamed of? What are we ashamed to ask God to forgive? And my invite for us tonight is to let it all go. Just let it go. Bring it all to God. Take all the hurt, the shame, the regret. God, I'm still here. I'm still struggling with this. And I'm not afraid to bring this to you. I'm not afraid to hide my shame any longer. I have no reason to hide it. And you're right here with me anyway. I still need you to help me with my struggle. I'm bringing my struggles to you. Father, I need your help. I want you closer to me. I need you in my heart with no filters. When we hide with our shame, we distance ourselves from God and His greater plan and purpose. God already knows our struggles, and He's here for us. He's got our healing. We can receive God's grace. We can prepare our faith for what God has planned. It starts with our heart breaking free of the guilt. It's not our weight to carry. That was a lie. We're not going to listen to these lies any longer. Can I get an amen? Amen. I found an old picture recently, and this picture actually means a lot to me. I'll always remember where I was as a small child the first time I saw this picture. And it'll be up on the screen here in a sec. There it is. This picture is called Grace. Grace is actually a photograph. When I first saw it, I thought maybe it was a painting. Actually, when I first saw this photograph, I thought it was God, and I asked my mom, I said, who is that? Is that God? Is that God eating dinner, eating lunch? But no, it's a photograph. It was taken by Eric Enstrom, and it depicts an elderly man with his hands folded saying a prayer over a table with a small meal. It was a pretty popular picture. The original photograph was actually in white and black, so it's a pretty old picture, and a lot of people remember this photo either at your parents' house or your grandparents' house or your great-grandparents' house. This one was artificially colorized, which is the version that I remember when I was a kid in the 90s. But, the picture, sometimes a picture can say 1,000 words. And this one, I believe, is a beautiful picture of Thanksgiving. To really be thankful for what you have and the opportunity you have to impact those around you and with what God has blessed you with. So look at this photograph of this man. He's thankful, resting over a simple small meal. So God can do so much with your heart and the small blessings that we may not think too much about. Also, I want to talk about the story in the Bible when Jesus was presented with only 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. And there were thousands of people that needed to eat, and all they had was 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. In Matthew chapter 4, verses 17 through 21, it says, "All we have are 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they said. Jesus said, "Bring them here." Then he had the people sit on the grass, and he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, lifted his face to the heaven in prayer, blessed, broke, and gave the bread to the disciples, and then the disciples gave the food to the congregation of people, and they all ate their fill. And they gathered 12 baskets of leftovers. About 5,000 people were fed. And, it started with Thanksgiving. It started with Jesus thanking God for the 2 fish, for the very small amount they had. And, how did he go about that? It started with prayer. It started with what he had. It started with him being thankful for God and what he had already been blessed with, to feed thousands of people. Faith that started with thanksgiving. When your heart is in the right place, God can use you to move mountains and to feed thousands. That's where our heart needs to be, not caught up in the past with shame and guilt. Come back to the love of our God, our Creator. Lord, what is my calling? What would you have planned for me today with what you've blessed me with? How can I be of service in your kingdom, Lord? For your glory and your glory alone. That's all I have.